Is Cameron Smith's 80s mullet the secret behind his 2021 and 22 PGA earnings? As much as we'd like it to be, it isn't. The Australian won 6 PGA Tours on skill and patience alone, and between 2014 and 2022, he's earned a whopping $24.7 million, and he's not stopping anytime soon. So in this video, we're taking a look at how a champion golfer spends his bank. So let's swing right in. First up is Smith's collection of gorgeous cars. When you've raked in $2.1 million between 2016 and 2017 alone, you have to spend it in style. So get this. Back in April of 2017, Smith and Jones Blixt beat Kevin Kistner and Scott Brown on the fourth hole of sudden death at TPC, Louisiana. That kind of victory deserves some splurging, and Smith knew just how to do it. He walked into the nearest Nissan dealership and purchased the latest version of the GTR, which he calls his pride and joy. And who wouldn't? The aggressive taillights and angular design of the GTR give it an edge that few sports cars have. It corners so fast that it nearly broke Jeremy Clarkson's neck on Top Gear, so they don't call it the Godzilla for nothing. Smith had owned the car for 7 days and had already put 1,000 miles on the odometer. In fact, one day he and his girlfriend decided to go for a scenic drive along the coast and ended up driving 2.5 hours from Jacksonville to Orlando and back. In an interview, Smith said that he didn't just buy the GTR just to look at it. You could look at it in the driveway of your $2.4 million home, but why waste the horsepower? And the GTR has a practical side too. Smith's really into Japanese cars, and he prefers the best that money can buy. But they aren't just shiny toys for him. It doesn't look like it, but the truck of the GTR has enough space to fit a small elephant. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but it does have space to fit in all the golf clubs Smith would ever need to bring at an event or a casual game with friends and family. When Smith competed in the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass, the gleaming blaze metallic GTR was seen waiting for him in the parking lot. So what's in his golf bag? He's currently a Titleist brand ambassador and has been for the entirety of his golfing career. His bag's full of them. For his usual game, he has his trusty black set of 2021 Titleist T100s from 4-iron to 9-iron. And if you're wondering which golf ball he trusts to make the hole, it's the iconic Titleist Pro V1X, which has been hailed as one of the best golf balls on the market. He explained that he loves the cover and the stickiness the V1X gives him, which helps him hit a lot of different scoring shots. All in all, his golf kit will cost you a couple $1,000s. But let's get back to his cars. He's got another Japanese tuner in Brisbane. Smith's father, who was a pretty talented golfer himself, was also a bit of a rev head when it came to cars, and his son got his passion for Japanese cars directly from him. He spent some of his hard-earned dough on building a Time Attack car. Just YouTube Time Attack Racing, and you'll see some dope road cars that have been modified to compete for the best lap times. It's pretty gnarly. Smith and his friend restored and rebuilt a Subaru WRX, a Japanese tuner car that's got a 4-cylinder boxer engine with a turbo fitted inside. In simple words, it's got 700 horses ready to rip a hole in the road. But when it's on the road, it purrs like a cat. Smith said that when he's back home in Brisbane, he drives the Subaru just like any old car, but the champion golfer has a racer's heart beating inside his chest. When he's back home, he loves to go to Willowbank Raceway and take his Subaru out for a spin, and he almost always wins. He's estimated that he rocketed the car to 174 miles an hour. That's blazing fast for a rebuilt Subaru. Now, if you're wondering if he's planning on going pro, he's not. Smith said that the car isn't to win a trophy or prize money, it's just a fun little side project for him and his friend. So he's not just about his day job on the PGA Tour. Now, he doesn't just own Japanese tuners. 2 other cars sit comfortably on a 2,200 square foot area of his $2.4 million estate in Jacksonville, Florida. The first is what he calls an everydayer, the Audi R6 Avant. You know, a $117,000 car for when you're just going to a local Walmart to grab some fruit. And then he's got the all-American Ford F-150 truck, which drinks fuel and roars like a monster on the highway. Now, the Ford is a family car, but it can totally be used for off-road activities, especially since it has over 700 horsepower to yank it across the dirt. But his car collection's only a small part of his fortune. Next up is his Jacksonville, Florida home, and what a home it is. Since he went pro, he chose to move from down under to the Sunshine State. But how does a golfer like Cameron Smith spend his downtime? In a stunning $2.4 million luxury pad in Ponte Vedra Beach. That's how. He made the purchase back in 2020 and has lived there ever since. The property is built over 5,350 square feet of space and has gorgeous views of the local waterways. Plus, it's just a stone's throw away from the Atlantic Ocean, but the inside of Smith's pad is where things get interesting. It's clean and bright, letting in tons of natural light to illuminate a huge central room with a combined kitchen, living space, and dining area. It's an open-plan designer's dream. There's also a built-in bar for when his friends come over, and it's stocked with only the best wines and liquor. And when Smith wants to have a chill evening after a long day on the golf course, he's got a huge wall-mounted TV, mini fridge, and a freaking dartboard in the living room, so there's entertainment for days. And there's an F1 simulator too. Yep, he's a rev head in more ways than one. He's a proud owner of an F1 race simulator that comes with a full race wheel, foot pedals, and 3 massive TV screens that let him have a panoramic view of the racetrack. Smith explained that whenever he wants to waste time, he hops into the simulator and drives cars all day long. Pretty neat, no? And when he feels like he's wasted too much time and wants to get in a quick workout, he doesn't even have to leave his property. The golfer has a large gym inside his garage where he keeps up with his cardio and strength training to make sure his swinging arm is as strong and flexible as ever. But when he's out of the luxury pad, he's got some baller taste. There's an outside lounge area that has its own wall-mounted TV and a separate barbecue area. Honestly, it feels like this house is more for his entertainment than his living, and there's nothing wrong with that. The lawn's perfectly cut and pruned for Smith to practice his putting before he heads off on a golf tour. And when Jacksonville's temperatures run a bit too high for comfort, there's a swimming pool for him to cool off and enjoy a drink or two. The pool looks out on the waterway, which runs parallel to his mansion. And guess what he's got on the waterway? 2 fishing yachts. Smith loves to fish, and he loves it so much that he was once kicked out of the Harbortown golf course because he was trying to fish in the nearby lake. But he's not going to have any of those pesky issues with his own yachts. He owns a Frontrunner 39, which the company describes as their flagship model, and it can cost you anywhere between $500,000 to $700,000. And for that amount of cash, you get a slide-out cooler, a huge 540-gallon fuel tank, and 14 rod holders for when you're out fishing. It's a perfect boat for weekend getaways. And for Smith, it helps ease the pressure of winning PGA Tours over and over again. It's even got a bar that's stocked with his drink of choice, Guinness and Bee's Knees cocktails. In the off-season, he takes the boat out once or twice a week and describes it as being one of the best things about living in Jacksonville. Finally, what does Smith see in the future? By that we mean what happens when the limelights dim down and he's no longer playing golf as a sport. Well, he recently said that when he retires, he'd like to open up a nice, quaint cafe. Now that seems pretty cool. Most sports celebrities open up fitness centers or their own line of liquor or clothing, but Smith keeps it simple. He's earned more money than most people do in their lifetimes, so spending a portion of it to open a cafe in his hometown Brisbane or maybe somewhere in Europe would be the perfect way to settle into retirement. Plus, he'd have his GTR, F1 simulator, and the 2 yachts to keep him company, right? And that's a wrap, folks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.